Hello and welcome back to Portal
Welcome to Portal,
Episode
everyone.
1 with me.
Welcome back. It's the first episode.
Well, we are the
Yeah,
Portal 2
Oh,
community
sorry,
level.
am I cutting you off?
I'm certain
Sorry.
you watched all our videos and liked them all and subscribed and all that stuff.
And
Certainly.
remember,
Yeah,
don't be
Of
an
course they
don't
have.
don't be an atom.
yeah. We're
As
gonna
you,
put that on our channel page. Don't be an atom.
our channel description, don't be an atom.
But I'm the. Don't be
Indeed.
an atom, but I'm the sexiest, most charismatic person alive.
Yes, so
Exactly. Don't be an atom.
So
Don't-
be ugly and
so is my dick, but
uncharismatic
I
like
mean,
you two? Okay, that's
So it's
pretty.
my-
Be like us,
Yeah.
and the whole world will be better.
So everyone should be ugly and uncharismatic.
that sounds like a perfect description of you. If you can't tell, I love this beginning
Yeah.
song on the radio.
Huh?
If you can't tell by my caressing the radio, or caressing, sorry.
Grossing.
Hey, it's early. I love the
Early?
radio. Well, I've been sleeping at like. You don't want to know.
Well,
Wait. What? Oh, dang it, the stream cut out for me. Hang on.
Try again.
doesn't matter too much. We can just talk over it. But yeah. Anyways, Portal is one of my favorite games, of course. Like,
I like it too.
just the
I prefer Portal 2, to be honest.
I don't understand why so many people prefer Portal 2 over 1. Like,
Oh.
Because Portal 2 has more of a character-driven story.
Well,
well,
One is
I
just sort of
I like both.
figuring out.
I like both equally. How
Portal-
about that?
Portal,
Well,
does,
alright,
Portal,
that's
1
once we
has,
have-
Portal 1 has a good mystery, but Portal 2 has a good, plot to it. Portal 1 doesn't really have all that much of a plot, other than you going from test chamber to test chamber, and then eventually escaping and killing GLaDOS.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
about it.
So how
No,
do we
plot is
use
more
the
involved
super
than
button,
that.
guys? I have no idea.
Point A to point B.
But I
It's
think that well,
it's very point A to point B, which is one thing I kind of have a problem with.
Well,
Whereas in 2, it has multiple different locations, multiple different areas about it, multiple different points that you have to go through, which I find fascinating, and it is nice to see the extent of what we don't see in the first game.
aren't all stories point A to point B? I mean, you can't really say that
Your argument,
there
Portal-
is no
Portal's-
twists in Portal 1 because there obviously is.
both of your
Portal-
arguments are so bad.
Portal's extremely linear, though.
Portal 2 is extremely linear too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but there's some amount of variation, though. In Portal 1, it's all the same colored test chambers and such.
It's a 2-hour game, and besides, it becomes different once you break out of the test chambers.
True.
And there are
Then you're just
different
wandering
test
around.
chambers.
Then you're just wandering around brown, red, and gray industrial areas.
No, it becomes different and such, and
Mhm.
yeah, I still think the game does have variety, and it is a 2-hour game still.
Sure.
Not that that would excuse bad variety, but I think Portal is varied enough, and but I mean, Portal 2 is just more typical, I believe, than Portal 1. Like Portal 1 really it innovated more. It had a more interesting story with how with the companion cube. Like you don't expect that out of Portal 2. Like having this sort of attached to the inanimate object and such, and examining that whole attachment to an inanimate object. That's something that you wouldn't expect out of a typical video game.
Can I just say,
That whole feel.
To be fair, though, I do enjoy the character. There's more character and there's more characters in general in Portal 2 than there are in Portal 1, and you learn more about the history and what's going on, and you gain more context, which I also like. And there's actual character arcs in Portal 2, which I find very fun.
There are in
It has
Portal
one of
1
the
as
best betrayal
well.
scene. It also has one of the best betrayal scenes in a video game.
Well, Portal 1 also has a character arc um, and a betrayal scene that I think is much better than Portal 2. In fact, the whole the twist the twist that you see in the game and near the end. Also,
I would say that that's so much a character arc.
yeah, there's a character
Oh.
arc with you like just doing what she says and such for the entire game, and then
That's just a plot twist, not really a character arc.
I still
Wasn't
really have
necessarily
a character change really in it, and it's sort of, I don't know. It gives more of a feeling of this whole feeling like you're actually in a test rather than being in a science fiction story. I think that's really innovative and such. Also, Portal 1, if you want to talk about gameplay, I don't think Portal 1 didn't sag in the middle like Portal 2 did. Like the whole underground scene and such, I
loved that. I loved going through the old facility and seeing all the older tech and such. I thought that was neat.
completely sidetracks from the story at hand. The entire
Really,
But it adds... Can
what
I
it adds,
interject?
I find quite fun.
Can I
And-
interject?
Sure.
But it adds the very important... Well, Half-Life and Portal are kind of, like two snakes intertwined. Half-Life, you need Portal. But for Portal, you need Half-Life.
They're not that closely intertwined, Jesus.
Black
There's just
Mesa,
one
end of
thing from
episode.
Portal. There's one Easter egg in Portal that's also in Half-Life. Big
And they have to combine the stories.
which they haven't.
But yeah,
Or
so
they bothered
the
to.
stories are connected, but you don't have to really know one to know the other. Of course, you could even jump into Portal 2 without playing Portal 1, but I wouldn't suggest doing that. But yeah,
Come on.
One of my favorite sections in Portal 2 is when you find the mural of what you did in the first game. I think that was really cool.
yeah. What was I saying about the middle section? Yeah, it felt sort of boring down there. Like
Really?
just sort of, I don't know. It didn't feel like anything was happening. Like just going around with the. I mean, the only thing that really happens is GLaDOS really figures out like
Who she
that
is.
she was like Carolyn, which is really not really well explained in the story. I think. I mean, not to say that Portal 2 is bad, really at any section. It's still good. I still really love the game, but I think Portal 1 innovated more and such, and it was more interesting. It was better.
Interesting. You just go around solving puzzles for 2 hours.
That's what you.
Puzzles are fun. And I love
And
the
To be
puzzles.
fair, the puzzles are what you do. Okay, to be fair, in Portal 2 you do puzzles, but there's also a story going on around you. There's characters and power struggles and interesting things that happen.
There's a
Happy-
much more interesting story in Portal 1 when you don't know about all the details and such, and when you see like that, when you see little notes on the ground that point to another room and says like, you know, the cake is a lie and such, and you slowly start to figure out about the place and such, so that the twist ending is the twist near the end is really fulfilling. I mean,
Okay,
they,
I'll
like,
give it
twist-
that it has a good mystery and good build-up, but it doesn't have characterization. All we know about GLaDOS is evil robot. That's about it.
oh,
You don't
that-
even know that she's a robot.
She gets a developed character arc in 2, though.
But
She's very interesting in 1 as well. She doesn't even try to kill you until after you pull off random sections of her. So,
Oh yeah, guys, how do
see
you like
other-
the screen tearing? I'm doing it specially for all of you motion sick people.
yeah, just like seriously, if you have a good monitor, then yeah, you can use VSync, but if you don't, then you drop to 30 frames in rain, which doesn't make any sense to me. Whatever. And also, if you have a good graphics card, I suppose you could do that. But
You guys can continue with your little argument.
yeah, anyways, yeah. But yeah, what was I saying?
New versus old?
Well,
Please note that we have added a consequence.
what was I saying?
You were saying about
You're saying about how characters, well, that's not really necessary. necessarily something that it needs to have a lot of. And besides, the details that it does provide make up for not having tons of characters and such. Like, and the characters are quite interesting, but from what you can't see, somewhat. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like, I like Wheatley, but it's sort of
Kind of boring.
his sort of twist sort of comes out of nowhere. Like, why would he have any reason to get mad at Shell? Like, sure, yeah, I wish he would
That's the
have
point.
more
He doesn't
reason
have
to
a
do it.
good-
Like, all she does is drop him on the floor. Like, can't you foreshadow
that's
that
the
a little
point.
better?
He doesn't have a good reason. He's crazy and
Well,
really
I don't think the
stupid.
psychopath is a very good villain. I don't ever really think that is. Like, a sociopath isn't very interesting. They're, I don't know, maybe I haven't seen too many books or so with sociopaths, but I feel like Wheatley, they should have foreshadowed it more, like have
Every Stephen King novel.
dropping Wheatley on the ground, or having all those mistakes being done by Wheatley so that he's basically not very relatable by that point. They should have had more foreshadowing with Wheatley so that you make more of the mistakes, so that you end up actually causing him more pain rather than just dropping it on the floor.
Yeah, I
But I
do
do
agree
like the
that
idea.
Wheatley is a bit.
No, the
I do like
sociopath-
the. I have to agree with Structor here. Wheatley, he's not given any reason to hate Shell.
That's kind of the point. He doesn't have a reason. That's why it's so odd. He shouldn't have a reason to want to kill you. His thingy is so flawed because he's such an idiot. That's kind of the whole point. Also, the whole sociopath angle. I don't know what you're talking about. Sociopaths are very interesting people.
Oh.
Maybe you can't empathize with them because you are one. Dun dun dun.
Plot
Like,
twist.
doesn't make any sense. What? How exactly is a sociopath terribly interesting? Like, they don't really have any motives. They just want to destroy things for some reason. Because they're mad. Like, that's not very interesting.
You kidding?
That's not necessarily true.
It's the most interesting thing ever.
I don't know.
By the way, when you two have a
Maybe I
moment,
haven't seen enough stories with sociopaths. But yeah, I would
one
have...
of the most famous literary sociopaths is Hannibal Lecter. He is very, very cool. Well,
Yeah,
cool,
I've-
that sort of creepy, suave, I'm going to kill you if you misbehave sort of thing.
But yeah, I much prefer villains that have a clear reason for trying to do what they do. More of a relatable reason at times. Like, and it's very easy to have a solution, I feel. Like, Wheatley should have had a strong emotional reason to hate Shell. I mean, he obviously has a reason to hate GLaDOS, but Shell has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, if anything, Shell kind of saved Wheatley.
Yeah, and it sort of comes out of left field. Like, I would have rather have, like, Wheatley be sort of, I don't know, disgruntled about having to work with Shell before, and stuff like that, I don't know. If that makes any sense.
Also, I enjoy learning the history of the facility, and seeing different parts of it, too. Seeing parts we've never seen before. Going to locations that we never knew existed, too. And learning the secret history of the location as well.
But yeah, the purpose of...
And the amazingness.
feel like the bottom drags, because the purpose of going... the entire purpose of getting out is to get out. Like, other than getting the goo to be there, like, you don't feel like you have a clear mission and such, just get out.
Get out.
Another mission, sorry, I don't know if that makes... I gotta think about this for a second. So, why can't you have some other thing you could be doing down there to try and avert the crisis? Like,
I guess that is a reasonable point.
my favorite part of the game is when you're going around with Wheatley destroying the neurotoxin and the turret generators. It has a very clear purpose that leads up to something later on. Like, it gets a bit more vague later on when you're downstairs and such.
And
But I
isn't
like
Wheatley
that.
a very
I also-
vague character?
And
He's a
also,
moron.
when it comes to that bit when you're down in the original Aperture Place, you get this sort of almost creepy atmosphere, and I really like that. I like that almost tense atmosphere that it makes down there.
Well, I mean, Valve
You may
does
have found it
do.
boring, mainly because you just didn't, and you would, I don't know why you would find it boring. I found it quite fascinating. And the way it was, the design in it was beautiful. I really love the design in that, for those maps and such. I really love that, broken down, rusted aesthetic.
Then, but yeah, then it feels like it felt real pretty sidetracked though, is what I was saying earlier. Like, why exactly is GLaDOS not very urgent about getting out if the facility is going to explode?
Well, she knows you're trying to get her out of there, but she's also freaking out over the fact that she was a person at one point.
Which doesn't make much sense to me. If she's a person, how can she delete herself? Then she wouldn't exist anymore. That doesn't.
I guess you can delete your personality.
I think you've misunderstood that ending.
Yeah, this
Because
thing makes no sense to me.
to me it makes perfect sense. She is still her. She is. Okay, so she was Carolyn at some point, right?
Yeah, so
Got transferred into GLaDOS. GLaDOS went insane and decided to start testing everyone overtime and all this stuff, killed all the scientists, yada yada yada. When she rediscovered the Carolyn programming inside of her, it allowed her to create basically a new version of herself, basically. So she's kinder, she's more empathetic, she has humanity. What she deleted was the original Carolyn upload along with the original GLaDOS upload. That's what she says. That's what she means when she says Carolyn deleted, and then she goes back about her business. Other than that, there's not much else I can say beyond that. That is practically what happens. It's not her deleting all of her Carolyn memories, every bit of her that was Carolyn. No, she's just deleting the original Carolyn because she is this new enlightened combination of GLaDOS and Carolyn.
but Carolyn and Carolyn, you mean? Because if
Carolyn.
GLaDOS equals Carolyn, then it
Okay.
seems. Yeah, again, that doesn't make any sense. Like, and it wasn't never explained in the story what she was doing there. Like,
It's kind of obvious to me.
It-
And I only played the game once.
I played the game like 3 times in this point. It seems, and it still doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It's
It makes sense.
One problem which I do have with Portal,
Mm.
it takes a few things which I wish it didn't take.
What do you mean? Take.
For the characters, it takes a few turns, which I honestly, as a player, it kind of turned me off of a Portal 2 for a long while.
What? Give examples.
Wheatley being so when I was with Wheatley, I thought he was the lovable guy. Like I would have pinched his cheeks if he had it. If he had cheeks. Okay? But then with that whole plot twist of him just going out and trying to kill Shell, that really it kind of turned me off of the game for a long time. It wasn't until recently where I decided to revisit it.
Why?
Yeah, that's sort of. I don't know, but after that scene, it doesn't really feel like I really want to keep playing the game and such. Like, I
Or
don't know. I usually skip the part, and in the recent playthrough I did, I skipped the part down below the facility and such, and went straight back to when you go up to Wheatley again, because then the game gets much better. It's leaps and bounds better once you get out of the underground area.
Also, though
Yeah.
you do have to admit though, the use of the goo during the underground sections was pretty entertaining.
Except
Now-
the conversion gel. I hate the conversion gel.
Which one's that one?
The one that's makes things white and such. So I
Oh,
can
the
put portals
portal
on it.
channel. Yeah, the
Yeah,
portal.
I hate that one. Like,
That one's kind
I
of
like the. It's so frustrating when you have to move it around and such, and then create portals to under the conversion gel you just placed in order to put other parts of conversion gel in order to put other portals down.
yeah,
Um,
that it gets annoying.
Yeah, I'm
Those
not
levels with the gel. I personally, the only gel which I found to be the most well programmed was the jumping gel.
I much prefer the other things that the game introduced. The lasers, the light bridges, of course, the force tubes that Wheatley uses. Yeah,
I found the force tubes to be irritating.
are much better than the using gel.
I like running around on the orange gel or bouncing around on the blue gel. I thought that was fun.
Look up this whole
Plus, I like
Carolyn thing because I really don't think I missed anything. I don't know.
It's not that she's undoing the character the changes that she's made. She's not undoing the what's it called character development. She's still a new character. She's still learned and
So,
developed.
Then why does she start? Why does she start talking so rudely to Shell afterwards? Before she's saying like that she was
She's nice
her
to her in
best friend, and then she says after that she was a problem after she did it. So that definitely seems
That's
in
just-
between there was a change that sort of undid sort of things.
I'd say that's just her sense of humor. She's like, we're good friends, but you're a problem, and since I can't kill you, I might as well just send you off.
That doesn't. Definitely didn't.
That doesn't make any
Close that.
sense, honestly.
To me, it makes perfect sense. I don't see the problem with it.
Oh.
It's weird. Don't understand it. I understand it perfectly fine, I think.
It's a very confusing ending. Like,
I thought that ending was pretty simple. You become friends with her. She still is somewhat of a jerk.
maybe-
That's just her character.
if someone could tell me whether I'm missing something, because this makes no sense. Let's see.
What are you doing?
It's never made clear how much of GLaDOS was Carolyn.
True. Exactly. It's kind of ambiguous.
Ellen McLean said that to her belief, Carolyn is not deleted at all. Man, this just going deeper and deeper down this hole, man.
Maybe the Carolyn deleted thing was just sort of a joke. Maybe it's not meant to be taken that seriously.
Well, if so, then that's just not a very good way to make it clear, I don't think. Helping her realize where Carolyn lives. Deleted Carolyn from his system. Which... Carolyn Mind was inserted into the AI that became GLaDOS, a fact silently recalls on her own when listening to recordings. GLaDOS' demeanor slowly changes as two memories of Carolyn emerge, and then she claims to have turned over a new leaf.
Exactly.
Can't they just... I mean, again, it's very simple. Can't they just say that she's Carolyn and get it over with? That doesn't... I don't see why they had to make it like, 75%, 60%, 66%.
And there is a bit of plot protection, which I really don't like in Portal 2.
There's plot protection in every game. Get over it.
Mainly this.
Oh, here we go.
Why is it that the moon suddenly appears when you're fighting Wheatley, and
It's
you
not that
can
it suddenly appears,
magically
it's-
put a portal on the moon?
It was nighttime when the moon rose. Portable materials are made out of moon rocks. They explain that in the
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
one thing I have to say that is good about the plot down below, is it does foreshadow that movement, because
No.
if she hadn't
But doesn't
fallen down that pit and listened to all those dang recordings of Cave Johnson, she wouldn't have known to fire a portal at the moon.
No, but isn't it a little bit convenient that you go to Cave Johnson, and then suddenly the moon appears when you're fighting Wheatley?
Yeah, it's like you're in a building that's above ground, when if you're not, then
No, but even
is there like
after,
a long tunnel up there going up to the moon that you just happens to open up? I don't
and
know,
at the
that's-
very end of
That is a
Portal
bit
2,
confusing.
at the very end, you see
You're
how long it
overanalyzing
takes
it.
to actually get to the top of it, to the surface, in the turret song. The
Sure,
turret of the
something.
opera.
Sort of the opera. The turret thing is just sort of more of a joke than anything. And besides, it doesn't really matter. It's a
Yes.
soft science. It's a soft
Yeah.
science fiction
That
It's a
doesn't
soft science fiction story. It doesn't necessarily matter if you can see the moon and shoot a portal onto it. If they explain how you can shoot the portal onto it, just
But they
because
don't
something is
explain-
convenient. That argument can be used for anything, like, oh, it's so convenient that Luke was able to learn to use the Force at the right moment when he needed to blow up the Death Star. That sort of thing. It's annoying.
At least
when
that's
people
believable.
overemphasize
At least it ain't Ray.
it. Shut
Yeah.
up. Ray was the well.
Alright. So, calling all people who dislike Force Awakens, I mean,
Force Awakens
What
was great.
people?
movie that
Do you know how
just...
many dislikes you're gonna get for the video now because you
No, actually, I'm going to get the opposite for that. Like, I mean, isn't it like, hasn't it become cool to hate the film now? Hasn't it?
Not-
I thought it has. I mean, let's see how the views are doing. Like,
One
A lot
thing
of
which I
people-
love about
I don't-
Portal is they tell you how many levels are left to go through.
For the first one, yeah.
yeah, I like that too. That's very nice. Since it's sort of
Foreshadowing.
foreshadowing your fate.
So let's see, where am I?
Like,
Oh? Well, I guess we're gonna leave that here for this episode.
sounds good.
I'm gonna say this, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful life, have a beautiful life, have a good day, have a good night, have a good week, and,
Alright. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
bye.
So I gotta be.